welcome back to my home. I hope that y'all can see me okay. I think there's like some weird glares from the sun, but I want to be in the sunroom. I'm going to be taking you through my day today. I have a to-do list and we're just going to be checking off my to-do list. Thankfully all this stuff to me is quite fun. We're going to be spending a lot of time in the kitchen today. We've got to do some garden stuff. We haven't harvested in a few days because it's getting colder at night, so things are kind of slowing down, but it is still like 85 degrees during the day. So I'm craving some fall. It is almost October, like in a few days, and so it's just crazy to me that it is still 85 degrees. We went to the pumpkin patch like 2 days ago with our brother and sister-in-law and their kids, and it was so much fun, but it was like blazing. We were sweating eating our cider donuts, and my sister-in-law and I were like, this is just not fair. Like this is not even right. So I'm ready for it to cool down a little bit, but I'll take it for the sake of my garden, and that's about it. But all right, so we have a lot of things that we need to get done today, so let's get outside and get our harvest so that we can go inside and process some of it. Also, this is like third day hair of a blowout that I did, and so I've got like this fluff happening here. So I'm just so sorry that you have to see that and watch that, but I'll try to keep it tamed and not looking crazy. It'll probably end up in a clip before the end of this video, but we're gonna go and harvest everything, and I'm gonna be doing a short or TikTok of it because you guys really like those. So if you're not following me on TikTok, definitely go do that. We're growing over there, which is exciting, and so you guys are gonna see the behind the scenes of me filming that. We have a few things that were a little bit rotten that we're going to be taking over to our compost. I truly don't know when that compost is going to be ready. We've been feeding it for, I don't know, like a year, and it's still not ready. So hopefully by next year it'll be ready. Here's all of our cosmos and our zinnias that are just absolutely bursting at the moment. I don't know why they wait till September to do that, but like these ones, literally I haven't seen until like a week ago. So we got a very good harvest. We got a ton of tomatoes. They are starting to look very sad. My tomato plants look absolutely horrific. They definitely got diseased probably about in August. I would say they started to look really bad. And I think I know why. I did not prune them enough in the spring. Or not in the spring, but like in early summer when they were starting to grow. I did not prune them enough, and so a ton of the branches are just like laying on the ground, or even ones that I did think I pruned high enough, they just got so long that the tomato cages weren't wide enough to support them, so they're laying on the ground, and it's just a mess at this point. So I'm just letting them be and letting the ones that are on there ripen, and there's really nothing I can do at this point. And the season's almost over, so I'm just gonna get what I can get, and I will know for next year that I need to prune them up way higher and hopefully maybe get better cages or something. I don't know. I don't know how people do like the Florida weave where the branches aren't supported at all. It seems like they would just be laying in the dirt. So I don't know. I'll have to research that. But we have this big basket that we need to go put away. We're going to be doing a few different types of processing today. We're going to be canning our banana peppers. I have this bowl here that I've been saving. I have some in the fridge, and then we have all of these ones that we picked today. So I'm just going to kind of go through and separate everything that we harvested. Another thing that I'd like to do today is dry our cayenne peppers. So I do these in batches just as I get a good amount. And I've probably done, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 batches so far this year. And so I already have a pile of cayennes over here that I just keep in our fruit bowl to let ripen and start to dry out. And then these are the ones that we picked today. So some of these I can add to the batch. This one though, and this one, I'm gonna have to let continue ripen all the way until they're totally red. So we can do that today. That is a super easy project. I picked our bell pepper a little bit early. I would have preferred this to go all the way red, but we actually need it for lunch today. So we're gonna have a half red, half green bell pepper, and that's okay. And then I did pick one of the purple ones. They don't get that big, but that's okay. Surprisingly, our green bean plants are still producing. They were the first plants we were ever able to pick from this year, and they're still producing. They look sad, but I mean, we're still getting good green beans from them, just not as much as before. If you've never gardened and you want to garden next year, I definitely recommend green beans. They will make you feel accomplished. All right, and then we got 1 zucchini that I'll wash off before I put it in the fridge. And then this basket, I will just set over by the door, and then I just let them sit and ripen a little bit more. And then once I get a good amount that are all red, I just wash them, core them, and then put them in a freezer bag as well. I told you that this wouldn't last long. The hair is going up in a clip. All right, we are gonna start with the cayenne peppers, because if you've never dried cayenne peppers in your oven before, it takes like 12 hours. Some people say that it takes them like 6 hours. I've never had that experience. Although my cayenne peppers are quite large, and so there are some peppers that are like almost like shoestring French fries. They're like really small and skinny. So I guess those might take only 6 hours, but mine take at least 12 hours. And so typically I'm having to do it over the course of 2 days. So I'll just like turn my oven off overnight while we're sleeping, and then I'll just turn it right back on in the morning. So if you've never done this before, I have a whole video on how to do it, but it is very, very easy. And essentially we're gonna be making crushed red pepper flakes. And so you're just gonna cut off the tops, line them on a cookie sheet, put them in your oven at 180 degrees all day long. And then once they're dry, pulverize them in your blender, and then you have crushed red pepper flakes. All right, for the jalapenos, you're just gonna cut off the top as well, and then I keep a bowl for all of my scraps. All of this will end up in the compost, so nothing goes to waste. And then I will just take this over to my kitchen sink and run it through my hands like this, but squeeze it when you do it, and that will release this like center core and take out most of the seeds. We like to keep some of them because we'll take like a mild salsa, but we don't want it to be super spicy. So if you want your salsa, because that's what I'm making, that's what I'm saving these jalapenos for. So if you want your stuff, whatever you're going to be using the jalapenos for, to have all the seeds, then negate that part. But if you're going to be making salsa and don't want it super spicy, just go over your trash, your garbage disposal, and take out all the seeds before you put them in your freezer bag. It is time to make lunch, and I wanted to show you guys one of my favorite ways to use up a ton of garden vegetables. This is one of our like go-to dinners. We're having it for lunch today because we don't have any leftovers in the fridge. But we have this probably once a week, and it's very, very simple, and it's great for the summertime because I know a lot of people grow zucchinis and bell peppers, and this is a great way to use up a bunch of those. So you're just gonna put oil and some garlic in your pan, and then we're just gonna start dicing up our bell peppers. I just like to cut them up into bite-sized pieces. And for this recipe, I typically will do 3 bell peppers and 2 zucchini, and then 1 onion and 1 packet of chicken sausage. We get this kind from Aldi. The ingredients are pretty clean and it's very tasty. And so basically you're just making a stir fry of the vegetables and the chicken sausage, and then we serve it over rice. This is just jasmine rice. I eat it just like that, and obviously we season it a ton. And then my husband likes to eat it with soy sauce because he likes sauce. And then I will just dice up the zucchini as well into bite-sized pieces, however you want to do them. I normally just cut it in half long ways and then dice it up like so. And then make sure you save all your scraps to put it in your compost. Very, very important. I know I mentioned the compost earlier. I don't understand how long it's supposed to take to have usable compost. I know that when we were first starting to save stuff in our compost, we were doing like everything green and hardly any brown because we were just saving all of our kitchen scraps and we weren't really putting anything else in it. Like we didn't have any leaves or cardboard or anything like that. So I think that a lot of it is just due to personal error, but we've started adding a lot more brown and like doing a little bit of both every time that we add to it, which I'm hoping is going to help, but it still seems like it's taking a really long time. And we've been adding to this compost for probably like a year now. Half of that bin is still not even full. And so I just don't understand how people use compost every year if it takes so long. So if you have any experience with that, like I've watched a ton of videos, but you know, people don't always answer all of your questions. And then we will just dice up our onion. I know that you normally do onion first with your garlic, but I don't know, this is just how I've always done this recipe. I just start with like the firmest vegetable first, which is the pepper, and then I work my way down. I don't know, it's just how I've always done it. And then we will just slice up the chicken sausage into little coins. And then I basically just put every seasoning that is like Italian, because the sausage is Italian. So I will do salt. We really like our stuff seasoned well. We like flavor. So I will do salt, pepper, and I know we have onion and garlic in here, but onion powder is like a different flavor. I know it's supposed to just be like dried up parts of the onion, but I don't know, it adds great flavor. So I like to do onion powder and garlic powder in addition to the fresh stuff. And then I will do Italian. I have fresh basil out in the sunroom that I'm growing, but I want to make pesto this week, and so I kind of want to save all of that because you need a ton of basil. And then we will do garlic salt. Garlic salt is like my favorite seasoning ever. I put it in everything. So good. Then I have this salad blend. I don't even know what's in it, but this is the only dish that I use it for. And so I just throw some of that in there. My mom taught me that when you're cooking, smell it. And if it smells like the dish should smell, add it. So that's what I do. And then just for kicks and giggles, I will add a little bit of our homemade seasoned salt blend just because it's so good. Like I said, we like flavor. Alright, so then I will just stir this up and let it sit. And then whenever our rice is done, this will be done. It's like the perfect timing. And you basically just want all of your veggies to be soft and tender. To your liking, I guess if you want them to be firmer, you can do that. We like ours to be pretty well done. And that's lunch. Alright, I am just starting the canning process right now. We are filling up our big water bath canner, and then we're going to put the jars in there and get those boiling to sanitize, and just, you have to boil your jars before you do this to get them hot and then also sanitize them. And then we're going to prep our brine. We're going to need 6 cups of white vinegar, 2 cups of water, and 3 cloves of garlic. You can also use the ball like crisping powder granules, and that's supposed to help keep your peppers like nice and firm because they do cook, and I don't use them at all, so they do get kind of soft, which for us isn't a problem because we use them on pizza, and so they're gonna cook and get soft anyways. But if you want yours to stay firmer, you can use that. I just like as minimal ingredients and chemicals in my stuff as possible. So we're just gonna add those ingredients to our saucepan. And 3 cloves of garlic. I'm just using the jarred garlic. Now we're just gonna put this brine on the stove, bring it to a boil. Once it's boiling, reduce the heat and let it simmer for 5 minutes. This is where, if you have a large kitchen, be very thankful, because my kitchen is tiny and it is absolute chaos right now. Every little square inch of counter space is being used, and just about all the burners are being used. But it's all right. It teaches you patience and how to manage and just not freak out. So they have all been seeded and cored, and all the tops are removed, and now we're just going to slice them to your desired width. I do mine about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch wide, but whatever you prefer is totally fine. So our banana peppers are just processing right now. They've got like 4 minutes left, and then we're gonna move on to another project, and I am just gonna keep going. I am so tempted to sit down and scroll on my phone right now. It's at like after lunch when you sit down and you get a little bit relaxed, you know, full from the food, and then you get tired, and then it's like, oh, it's 3 o'clock. Yeah, I'm fighting that right now. So we have our coffee to keep us happy. I don't actually think that coffee does anything for me. I know it doesn't because I will drink it at like 8 o'clock, any time of day really, and it doesn't affect my sleep. But it's just like happy. It's happy to have, so it's exciting. I don't know. But anyways, after the banana peppers are done, I want to go into our bedroom and work on a project with our new dresser that we got. We got an antique dresser, and I did a whole reel about it, but it is like the most perfect, cutest early 1900s dresser ever. But we've had our current dresser, or our old dresser, and our old chair just sitting in our dining room ever since we got it like a week ago, and there's a reason, because we have to do something to the drawers to be able to move all of our clothes into it. So finally going to be working on that today. And then I wanted to show you guys, over the weekend my mom and I went to a bazaar, and they were selling homemade beeswax candles. And this is the first I've ever seen it at a bazaar. Typically, whatever the latest fad is will show up at a craft bazaar, because that's what everybody's doing. But this is my first time yet to see beeswax candles. And I got 2 of these 6-inch pillar hand-dipped candles. And I know I want to make my own, but the lady was just educating us a bunch about beeswax and like even what kinds to get or not to get, because sometimes if online it'll say beeswax, it only has to be 51% beeswax unless it says 100%. That's what she said, so don't quote me on it, but that's what the lady said. But she gets hers from a local beekeeper here in Michigan, which would be my preference, but I don't know of a local beekeeper yet that does beeswax. So I'm still hoping to find a local person, but we did get these to try out. This is our first beeswax candle. Apparently they're supposed to burn 2 times longer, and so her little tea lights will burn, I think she said like 15 hours or something like really, really crazy. I just finished our taper candle that was in here, and so I was excited to put this one in there. Cute! And I just love how beeswax is yellow, and they're not like a bright white. They're just very natural and warm. I like that. So I will burn that tonight, and hopefully it's a good experience. And I'm so excited to pour my own. I would love to do hand-dipped taper candles as well, but I know that that's much more of a process than just like pouring it into a dish. So we'll start with pouring it into a container first, and maybe we'll move on to hand-dipped one day. But I'm excited to have that little situation. I love how warm the color is of the beeswax. I think it's so pretty, especially for fall. Alright, so if you haven't seen it, this is our new dresser. She is a beauty. I'm so excited to decorate it. But first, we need to fill the drawers. We haven't even done that yet. And the reason is because these are old drawers. They smell not bad, they just smell old. And so we don't really want our clothes to smell like that. So that is one issue. The other issue is that this wood in here is a little bit rough, and so I don't want our clothes to be like snagging at all. So we were going to line the drawers, and typically people would use like contact paper, drawer liner, but we were thinking that it might leave like a sticky residue, and because this is old and nice and we want to keep it that way, we don't really want to ruin the inside of the drawers in case we either want to take the contact paper out, or if this ends up with somebody else one day, if they want to take it out, we don't want it to be ruined. So my mom thought of this idea of using a tablecloth but the kind that's thicker with like the flannel back, and just laying it flat in the bottom and then spraying it with essential oils to help with the smell. Some people also will take like wrapping paper or wallpaper and tack it in the corners of the drawer to hold it down, but I also didn't want holes to be in the drawer, so we're gonna try this out. Hopefully it works, because I bought a tablecloth and I want it to work. So I'm gonna start by measuring the drawers, and they are curved on the front, so we're not gonna get an exact, you know, perfect coverage, but that's okay. Eventually I would love to do something with the track of these, because again, it is old. Actually, I don't even think that there is a track. I think it just slides on the wood. So if we get like some sort of, I think they make like a wax that helps it to glide better, that would be wonderful. But also, that's just old furniture. You know, that's just how it is. It's not meant to be perfect. Alright, that is exactly 30 inches by 13. 30 by 13 for the big drawers. Alright, so I have all of my pieces cut. My first one is in here. And now I can just slide these guys right in. Now, this is a little bit thinner than what I was expecting. They are laying down pretty well. I don't know though, when I'm like, you know, rustling through it, just living life, pulling clothes in and out, I don't know if it'll move around a lot, so I'm almost wondering if we can add like a thicker, almost like a carpet square, or like a batting or something, just like a heavier material, and glue those together so that it's like a mat that perfectly fits, like a carpet square or something. I think that that would honestly work the best. This will get us going though, so that we can at least put our clothes away and get it out of the living room. And then when we go to do that other project, you know, we'll just take everything out, put it all away again, and that'll be fine. I'm realizing that this is also going to be a fabulous time to match up socks that have been separated or that we've lost. Good. Taught me to save everything, and most of the time I don't want to listen to her, but she makes me save them, like this bin. I would have totally gotten rid of this, but I think it might be helpful in this drawer to kind of consolidate all of these socks, because I don't like to roll my socks together like this. I think I learned that from my dad. He doesn't do that with his either, because it stretches them out, and so that can kind of lead them to getting a little bit messy. So I think that this will help, and then we'll have room for like a whole other half of this drawer, and I'll see if Nehemiah wants to put any more of his stuff in there. But this has completely held everything that was in our original dresser, with room left over, which is perfect. I didn't know if it was going to be about the same or what, but that is always good to have extra space. Maybe I should consider decluttering some of my socks. But I truly wear like all of them. Come wintertime, all I wear are crew socks because it's cold here. So far we've been able to cross off a few things. So we did our garden harvest. We did our banana peppers. Our chili peppers are in the oven, so I won't count that yet till they're done. We did our dresser liners. And that is it so far. So I have to run a quick errand, but when I get home, I think I will do our zucchini bread. And some of this stuff we're not gonna get to today, like bone broth, I'm gonna make that tomorrow. This is just a reminder for me to look stuff up, so technically I did do that. Just had to look up something about cabinets, so I did that. I'll probably do the bone broth tomorrow. I need to make a willow granny square tutorial for you guys. And then I will crochet later this evening. We'll probably decorate the dresser tomorrow. And then I will do the chili peppers whenever they get done and the zucchini bread tonight. So we are making very good progress on our list. We've only done 4 things and it's taken all day, but I feel good. I feel much better. Well, I am back home from our little errand. We went to the farmer's market because it's one of the last days before it closes up for the fall. And my mom just called me. She's like, hey, let's go run over there, see if they have any beeswax or if we can, you know, find information about finding beeswax. And we met Al, this sweet old man who has been a beekeeper for, what did he say, like 40 some years? And he was telling us all about how they make the beeswax, where it comes from, and we got ourselves a beekeeper supplier. We were like, I'm making candles, and if I need more, what do? He's like, oh, just give me a call, and I'll give you more. So we have beeswax, and now we can start making candles, and I'm very, very excited. I still have to get like the wicks and other little supplies, but this is the important part. And we know that it's real 100% beeswax from a local beekeeper, which was the goal. So yay, I'm very, very happy about that. And I am very, 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 very hungry. I'm so hungry. But I want to get the zucchini bread going because I like my sweets cool. I don't like them fresh out of the oven, so I want to get them cooked so that they can cool so that we can enjoy it tonight and it not be too warm. I know I'm weird and typically everybody likes their stuff fresh out of the oven. I don't. And then we will make dinner promptly after we get the zucchini bread in the oven because I'm hungry. All right, let's go.
Dare to live different and dare to be set apart, which you model so beautifully. Has the most guesses wins. Okay, ready, go.
We're doing a little bit of an experiment today with our freshly milled flour. So I have a mill that attaches to my KitchenAid mixer, but to be honest, I don't like it very much. It kind of sounds like it's killing my machine, and it also takes forever to mill because you have to mill it, like recirculate it at least 4 times to get good flour. And so it just takes so long. It makes my motor really hot, so I have to like pause it. It's just not the best. And so ideally one day I will get a actual flour mill that's electric and has more power and is way better, but they're like hundreds of dollars. And so I have used a coffee grinder in the past, but the coffee grinder that I have is like really little, and again, doesn't get it super, super fine, and also by the time I get all the flour I need, the motor is really hot. And so my mom found this one, which is a little bit bigger of like a compartment that you fill, so I can do more at once, and it just is more aggressive. And so we're gonna try this out today. And so I'm gonna be using hard white wheat. I have a big bag from Ancient Grains. I think it was about $70, but it's a massive, massive bag. And it's all organic, and it was recommended to me by somebody who I really trust their opinion on like health stuff, and so that seems to be a good company. I need 3 cups of this. If you've never worked with milling your own flour and you want to, little note is that whatever you grab, so like if you get half a cup, that'll probably end up being like 3/4 of a cup. It adds air and basically you're gonna get more flour out of it. I really hope that this works well because I want to be able to use this wheat that we got, but I'm not spending $400 on a mill right now. I did that for 20 seconds and it is very, very coarse still, so I'm going to keep going. I don't know if this is going to work. It feels warm already, like the motor's getting hot, and it's not. It's not fine enough. Yeah, it's getting very hot. Alright, I'm going to do one more little pulse and then we'll use this and then we'll do the rest with regular flour. Bummer. Alright, well, I need to get me a mill. I wish that they weren't $400. Do you guys know of any? I'm assuming that some of you are from scratch bakers as well. And I'm sure one of you has used freshly milled and has a solution. So if you know of a solution, please let me know. Pardon the dishwasher, but we got to cross off another thing off of our list. We made our zucchini bread, unfortunately not with freshly milled flour, but hopefully you guys can maybe help me with a solution. But I'm gonna close this video out. It's time to make dinner. The sun is going down. I think it's like 7:30. But I'm gonna just unwind from the day. I love being in the kitchen, and like, I've always enjoyed being in the kitchen, but it was always a little bit of a chore. But for some reason this past week, I've been making like so much stuff, and it just feels very, very fun. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm just gonna kind of unwind, make dinner, probably pour myself a glass of homemade kombucha, listen to a podcast, and just enjoy the night. So thank you guys so much for coming along with me on this day and helping me check some things off my to-do list. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more homemaking content of all different kinds. I would appreciate that so, so much. And I will see you guys in my next swim. Bye!